Sky Blue Fans TV. For the fans, by the fans.
Well, welcome and good evening to a special edition of Sky Blue Fans TV, by the fans, for the fans. Of course, we've had breaking news today, and we thought we'd come on and do a little special show. We've got Victoria with us tonight. Let's bring her in. Good evening, Victoria.
Evening, Claudio. You okay?
Yeah, you thought you were going to watch EastEnders and Coronation Street and a bit of football, didn't you?
Football, yeah.
We've put you on screen again. We're doing a little live show, talking about obviously what's the changes at Coventry City today, and we're going to have a little chat about England as well, and that magnificent performance by Slovakia. So we've got a couple of guests. We've got a regular, Chris Baker.
Evening,
Chris. Oh, that's nice and central in the screen. I like that.
Just got to get it all sorted now, eh? Yeah, no, thanks for having me on again. Yeah.
Glad to hear it. And at least you're not stood next to me or sat next to me this time. You're.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not going to go next door and find you in there, am I? Because that looks like my daughter's. Well, that is my daughter's bedroom. What's going on?
Don't be saying stuff like that. I'll get me a reputation hanging out in girls' bedrooms. God.
So, also,
what's going on
tonight is another regular, Jack Saunders from the Leamington Warwick Coventry City Supporters Group. He's their media king. Here he is.
King.
Evening, Jack.
Evening, guys.
Well, I'll tell you what. Should we get stuck into it straight away? I'll just get all the stuff up here. Miles has been a busy man. He's at work. He's got loads of overtime, so he's got to do it. Ken's away work as well, I suppose. Right. The breaking news was this. Adi Vivash has left the club. Now, that is a surprise, I think, to everybody. I can't imagine for 1 minute anybody thought that was going to be the breaking news, apart from all the lads are back at training and all the rest of it. But I don't get your thoughts on it, Vicky. What do you think to it? Because I find it's a bit baffling and unexpected.
Definitely, I was stunned. And it took me most of the day to sort of really process it, because it just came so out of the blue. And I think him and Mark have had such a partnership that you sort of really attribute the success to both of them, don't you? So you sort of felt that was the team that was going to take us forward. So yeah, definitely hadn't seen that coming. I think as the day's gone on and I sort of had a bit of time to process it, what we do know, I think, with Mark is that he's got no sentiment, does he? Something's there's clearly been a decision that we need to go in a different direction, I think. And whilst as fans we're like, what's going on? And we're going to miss AD and we're gutted about all that. I think it seems that maybe Mark and Doug think that we need to go in a different direction. And we know from past experience that in that situation, if that's what Mark feels, that he hasn't necessarily got any sentiment and he'll do what he thinks is best for the club. So that's how I'm trying to look at it now, that this is going to be a good thing. It's just quite hard because it's such a shock and I had such a lot of time for AD. I thought he was doing a great job. So it's just a bit of a strange one, isn't it?
Well, it is a bit. I mean, I'll ask you this, Jack. Do you think perhaps it's a move by the hierarchy to try and dilute what's already there, if you know what I mean? So that gives them a bit more power. What do you think?
We just don't really know, do we? There's been no real information. We've just heard he's gone. That's it. He's done and done. And he signed a 4-year deal along with Robbins last year. So it really is a shock that we've let him go 3 years early. But, people have gone from the club. We've let, Jason Farndon, Luke Tisdale and co go in the past, and we all thought they were up-and-coming good coaches, and we've moved on to better. Oggy left. He'd been at the club for years and years. New goalkeeping coach, Alan Williams, seems to be okay. So, Dennis Lawrence appeared out of nowhere, did a fantastic job, although he's moved on now. But even players, we get rid of players or we lose players who we think are the bee's knees, and then we get better. So why not with AD? Good luck to him and whatever he does. He's been a great, great servant for this club. But if we're moving past him, that just shows you the direction of the club that we're going.
And of course, yeah, because Mark and AD are good buddies from what I gather. So that must be a bit hard if you kind of employing your mate and then you're gonna have to tell them that we don't want you. Either that, or as he hasn't offered to go manage or coach elsewhere. What do you think, Chris?
I definitely find it strange. I was very, very baffled by the news this morning. So something clearly has happened behind the scenes. Obviously, you don't go from signing a 4-year contract extension to out the door in the space of less than 6 months. Was it a bit longer?
About a year.
Something's happened to obviously prompt this. Now, it really could just be a restructuring situation where the club feel that they need to do something a bit different to try and get them over that line up towards the Premier League. Or something's happened. Has there been a falling out between the two, or has Dorg and that made the decision above Robin's head? I sincerely hope that's not the case, because that then kind of puts Robbins on a bit of a bad situation. I can't imagine he'd be too happy with decisions like that being made over his head, to be honest. So,
I mean, do you think Mark probably needs a number 2 though? Because is that you think that could be another move coming soon?
Possibly. Unless this Carr or George Boateng. It was one of my favourite players when he played for us, by the way. I absolutely loved him. So I am kind of happy he has come back. I just kind of wish it was still with AD there. And also, these are 2 relatively newish coaches as well. I get that Carr was at Wolves and whatnot, but surely they could have learnt something off AD. So could they have not gone there and worked under AD for a bit and learnt something? So clearly there's something different brewing. So
we're looking at last season. I mean, I personally felt there's areas we need to improve on dramatically. Actually, I thought our set pieces are poor. The corners are not great. Both ends of the pitch at the minute. Throw-ins are not great. I mean, I can't believe anybody who follows the City doesn't watch our throw-ins and think somebody move. It's clearly free kicks from outside the box. I don't understand. At no point do we ever put people forward for them. Like we got like 2 or 3 strapping defenders who can head balls. You rarely think, all right, we've got a free kick 40 yards from goal. Let's get some blokes in the box and just put a cross in and see what happens sometimes. Yeah. So I don't know whether or not, I don't know who that's down to, because from what I gather, we had that meeting with Craig P during the week, and he said in the interview, he says he felt that he likes to do the coaching on the training ground, and whereas Andy Wing doesn't do so much of that side of things. Are they is there a bit of blame going towards AD with our coaching? I don't know. It seems, I can't imagine for 1 minute Mark Robbins is on the actual coaching pitch. I think that's why they employ these coaches now. So maybe they're not happy.
Yeah. Moves from Doug have been, in the background. Like he's employed a retail guy specifically to do retail. So I feel like the club might be going in that sort of similar direction on and off the pitch. He's going to employ experts in specific roles. Mark is clearly an expert at what he does. That's why he had his number 2 AD that ran the training sessions and things like that. So if we're going to get another expert, number 2, which I think we probably will, we'll get a set piece coach, like you say. We'll get other specific coaches. It won't just be 10 coaches and they all just pitch in. They'll all have their area of expertise, and that's how we will be going forward, I think.
Well, that's the direction, isn't it, these days? Like clubs are running in a much more modern way. And maybe that's part of the issue as well. Maybe they felt that we needed some fresh blood that's a bit younger that can bring some of these new ideas through, and AD wasn't that person.
Isn't it the Arsenal coach, the set piece coach, when they score from one, he's like thumping the air, because it's a routine that's come off. It's a bizarre scenario now, isn't it? It's like I've kept my job for another week kind of
They've
attitude.
got billions of pounds, world-class scouts, and 6'4" defenders.
Yeah. I'm going to put some comments up, then we can talk about George and Reece joining us. Here we go. Right, bear with me. All right, we've got Paul Hughes. Evening all. From Paul. Evening, Paul. No doubt from a travel large. I'm going to guess Ruislip. Crane Cockerell. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Ralph. Ralph Wigginson. Ralph, we have conversations, but poor old Ralph, every time he rings me, I'm in a meeting. So I must think I'm just ignoring. I'm not ignoring you, mate. Honest, I am in meetings and whatever. James Hollyoak, sacked or left, and why? Well, that's the thing we haven't found out yet. It was a very short statement, wasn't it? Mark Cunningham, what the hell is going on? We don't know, Mark. That's the truth of it. You got a message from Keno Tomo. Is it a move by the club management to break down the inner circle of the team management to make further change in the club without pushback? I'm worried over Mark Robbins now. Well, I mean, I said about Mark Robbins when Doug King came in that he, you know, it wouldn't be the first owner to come in and go, I mean, luckily he knew nothing about football, but I think if it had been somebody who'd already been at a football club, it wouldn't have surprised me if they come in and go, we're going to bring in new blood, basically. Mm-hmm. It happens. We've seen it at loads of clubs, regardless of what's happened before. Yeah, so, yeah. Glenn Watkins, something has clearly happened behind the scenes. The short, cold statement announcing his departure.
That was what was even stranger, wasn't it? Just the fact that, because you can see how this might have come about, and it might even be the situation they brought these two new people in, and now he said, I don't want to work in that environment, and so he's left. There's been a discussion, and he's left. But just the short statement that was really quite cold, but after all he's done for the club, made it even stranger, really, I think.
But it wouldn't be the first person where they decide they're going to have a new structure and somebody goes, I'm not really happy with that. I'm going to move on.
That literally could be the reason. So we might be looking for things or reasons that aren't actually there. You know, trying to think the club maybe in a bit more of a mess than it actually is, because I mean, we all like to think like catastrophically about the club or in situations like this, but it literally could be, okay, we need to restructure because we weren't in the playoffs last season, and the season before we didn't get out the playoffs, we didn't win it. We need to restructure, and he didn't want to do it, and he could be gone. That literally could just be the reason.
I mean, I'll put this around to all of you. Don't know what you guys think of this, but we finished 9th, didn't we? You take away the cup run, which was magnificent. Yeah, everything. We should have won 4-3. You take away that cup run, we finished 9th. And to me, I thought we should have finished higher. And it was a disappointing end to the season. We petered out. Yeah, that's how I saw it. Our home form towards the back end of away form, you know, if you lose games away from home, you kind of expect it sometimes. Yeah. But at home, we were poor, and we've not been great at home at all last season overall. When you look at how many draws there's been, not been many wins. You've got to get into, if you want to get promoted, you've got to get into double figures if you at home, definitely. And I felt it petered out a bit. I don't know what you guys think. I mean, you might disagree with me.
Yeah, I mean that cup run just screwed us with fitness and stuff, didn't it? I think that's the main thing. You know, the Wolves game would have been us against Ipswich. They were on a bit of a poor run at the time. If we turned up like we did against Wolves, but against Ipswich, we'd have battered them. Simple as. Had we have not had the Man United game, that was, I can't think of the team. That's the one. And they petered out. So maybe if we weren't petering out, we would have beat them. And they petered out and missed the playoffs. So I think that's one. The cup run, yeah, it was great, but it had a bit of a knock-on effect to our league performances, especially fitness and especially after the penalties, physically and mentally. And secondly, we haven't started the season well for 2 years in a row. The season before, we had a world-class start. We were in the top 2 at one point. You know, Gyökeres banging in goals. We beat Fulham 4-1, and we just haven't had that for 2 years. Yeah, all right. The year before last, we had the pitch issue. But maybe we've got a fitness thing that we're trying to be better in the late stages of the season, and maybe that's one of the reasons Ady's been moved on. Maybe he was so fitness-oriented that the beginning of the season was a time to get into it. I don't know. That is just speculation, but we've got to start season well. We can't afford to rely on a good late run like we did the other year. We have to start the season well.
Got a point here from Aaron Samuel. Heard a strange comment earlier saying AD wasn't happy with the work rate of the players from Sky Blue talk. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've not heard that. That's the trouble. You see, it's only that's only just a rumor, isn't it? But yeah, Alison Berry, evening all, evening Alison. Wayne Littlewood. Should have got him on because we're going to talk about England later.
Yeah.
I could have given Wayne an hour on that. Good evening. Strange day today at the club, I'm afraid. I did say the other day, I sadly think if we don't go up or in the playoffs this year, it will be Robin's last year. Contract means very little anymore.
Apparently so.
Well, yes. But, I mean, AD will be looked after, won't he, if he's got 3 years left in his contract. I wouldn't mind being made redundant with 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
I'll soon find another job next week. Glenn, he was strongly linked with Plymouth job before Rooney got it. Very odd and not sure Boateng and Carr are better than Lawrence and AD. Graham Cockrell, I have a question. Do you think that a change in the way Mark Robbins wants to play and a different of approach to the coaching staff? We'll come back to that. West Sky Blue, no one is irreplaceable. Yeah, that's what Miles said to me. Kenneth Tomo, the replacements aren't high flyers, so it can't be viewed as an improvement. It's either financial call or hidden agenda.
Not sure it can be financial because we're going to have to pay off his contract, aren't we? So we're actually spending more money to do this. Which is
I don't like this negative approach. Yeah. Lawrence and AD were very good, but we can't just assume they're not as good. We signed Victor Gyökeres. He was crap. You know, that wasn't an improvement, was it? No, of course not. I think back them. Just back them.
Yeah, I think what bothers me about those comments there is that literally they've not even been in the job 24 hours yet, and people are already saying, well, they're not as good.
Not even 12 hours.
Yeah, how do you know?
George is still pulling up his shorts. So James Hollyoak.
I'll tell you what actually about George. If he gets a midfield firing like he used to do back in the 90s, we could do a bit of that in midfield, couldn't we? Really?
Yeah, James Hollyoak, not just a great coach, but look how many great players we've got with Chelsea connections because of him being there. Don't worry, there'll be plenty more Chelsea players. They can't afford to have them all there. Quentin Cartwright is down to performance director. She's in charge of the players and the staff. Isn't the director? Isn't he a he?
Oh no, that lady came in, didn't she? Yeah, I forgot about her. There was a new lady that came in.
Yeah.
Oh.
So maybe, I forgot all about that. That's a good point.
Alison Berry made it sound like he failed his review. And Glenn says, who led the review? Was it Doug, Robbins, performance director, or all three? Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? It's like
for sure.
Conspiracy theory central. This is today.
we need Miss Marple, don't we? Trevor High Blues. Will Robbins follow? I mean, he might do. You never know, do you? Hope this isn't the start of. Hope this isn't the start of Doug making mistakes. Referring to Coventry. Ralph Wiggins. That's a very good slant on it, Claudia. I think it was referring to the getting different coaches in for different reasons. And your average Coffan, do you think Robbins signed off AD leaving? Don't know. I mean, you never know, do you? Alison Berry doesn't say about who did the review. The average age Coffan, who would you want as number 2? Michael Doyle or Andy Wing, maybe?
We're not going
if you want to talk about conspiracy theories, they started putting, these photos a day things that they've been doing.
Oh, yeah.
George Boateng, and everyone's like, oh, that showed why. Well, they've had Michael Doyle twice in the last week or so. So maybe that's maybe you want to get on the conspiracy theory line. That's what's going on there.
Well, it's strange, but not true tonight, isn't it? God.
there was something said when he left that at some stage. You come back to the club, so you never know. Dave Saunders, evening all, evening Dave.
Right, Dad.
Yeah, Ian Collins need a left back. Well, we do need a left back. Well, Well, I think the rumour was we signed that guy from Sheffield United last night. So,
Yeah.
Simon Wells, think we're in for a long season. Doug's upset the apple cart. Robin's happy. So, hope so.
This again, a lot of the comments, they're literally making assumptions. Oh, AD's gone, so Robbins must be unhappy. We don't actually know that. We don't know what's going on. But like, there's a lot of catastrophizing at the minute because of AD's gone. And like, that's literally what's coming across in the comments.
Well, this is Trevor Merriman. This is true because I mean, just hope Robbins is okay with AD decision.
Yeah,
because
That's
that
the
could
main
be
thing, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. That could depends what the discussion was. Stephen McGovern, surely Robbins has given the okay for the new coaches. Well, you see, it must. I mean, not a one-day interview, is it? With with new coaches, it had been done over several weeks. They've interviewed loads of coaches, so this may have been in the pipeline for well over a month.
Oh yeah, I bet they were just known this morning, have they? Mark's probably known this for weeks. I mean, one of the statements was talking about the recruitment process they've been through, all the various tests that they've done, and that George and Reece scored best in all of the different things that they tried. So this has clearly been like a fairly extensive recruitment process. It's not just like someone woke up this morning and said, let's bring 2 new people in and get rid of AD. I mean, that's the trouble. As fans, we had no knowledge of this. We're all a bit like, what's going on? But clearly within the club, this is a long-term discussion.
So, Mark, I really don't like this being so close to the start of the season. AD and Mark were so solid, I just don't understand. And got comment from Wayne.
Hang on. Yes, close start to the season, but it's day one of pre-season today.
Yeah.
So AD's walked in the building, picked up his things and left. And we've had 2 new coaches on day one of pre-season. That is as early as it can be. I know he could have signed a contract 6 months ago, but he wasn't coming in the door until today regardless. So it's as early as possible. So I think that statement's just the wrong way around.
That was a worry, Jack, wasn't it? When they first announced it that AD was going, because originally it just said obviously he was going and there'd be news in the future. You're thinking, how long is that going to be? Like, where are we going to stand? The fact it was like 2 minutes later was actually good.
Yeah, the problem is they have to announce it because there'd have been a photograph of George Boateng on the training pitch.
Oh yeah.
Or through a bush.
Yes. Excuse me. Right, this is from Wayne. Where are you, Wayne? I've lost you. No. We'll try again. Wayne Littlewood. Home form was extremely poor. Claudio. Full name, Cardellino. Also, the standard of football was not great compared to other seasons. If I'm honest, I thought some of our build-up was really slow last season, but I think that's by the by now. That's gone. Let's be more Austria. Alison Berry. Cal has officially left. Expected, but sad news. We'll come to Callum in just a moment. Reece Small, even in all, strange decision today, but maybe we're pushing to upgrade all aspects. Trust the process. Paul Hughes, the performance director, said that they had been interviewing for some time, and Carr and Boateng impressed head and shoulders above all others. So it's been going on for weeks. I'll do 2 more, and then we'll talk about the 2 guys coming in. Neil Pullen, Jack is about as annoying as herpes. Get Mark's back on. Is that a mate of yours?
No. That's the sad thing.
That's a bit harsh.
Neil? Dear. I've never had herpes. Anybody had herpes here?
No.
That's for a different podcast, Claudio.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I forgot what I was then. Men's health. Well, I'll do that on a Wednesday. Graham Cockrell, they should have given more information. Why did this and not a short bulletin? All Sky Blue supporters deserve more. They may do. It's just probably because they know there's going to be people around the training ground today. No need for that, Neil. I'm sure Neil will apologise or I'll ban him. Simple. West Sky Blue, how did Italy get on? You mean the European champions? We had a bit of a blip. But 4 stars on our shirt. Tell me how many you've got. Joe Kelly, maybe AD has had the opportunity elsewhere. I think that could be it. And cheers, Neil. Right. So let's talk about the 2 guys coming in. Obviously, we know George, fantastic midfielder. played 57 times for the Sky Blues, scored 7 goals. If anybody was there at Anfield that time we played Liverpool, what a performance that was. Didn't know who he was. This new guy turns up. He was like a world beater. I'd never seen anything like it when he turned up for our club. And everybody loved him. If he's as good a coach as he was a player for us, we'll be fine. As for the guy from Wolves, I haven't got a clue. So if anybody can tell me anything about him, please do. What do you you reckon, Vicky? I mean, you saw Boateng play.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I mean, if he can bring some of that commitment to midfield, it won't be a bad job with it. I think that's and actually that probably helps slightly with the process, isn't it? I think for a lot of fans, because there will be a lot of fans out there that have got fond memories of Boateng. Probably softens the blow slightly as opposed to it being two people we've never even heard of. The trouble is, I don't know enough about either of their coaching careers to know. I know that Boateng's been around a few clubs, like he was at Villa, wasn't he, for a while coaching. Somewhere else, did he go to Middlesbrough? Did he coach?
He's
been in Ghana, so there's a few things. Yeah. And also the same with Reece. So I just don't know enough about either of them to. And I think that's the thing. Not many people will they? None of us have been following their careers, thinking they're coming here. So we've got to give them a chance to get through the door and show us what they can do before we write them all off. I mean, it sounds like there's been an extensive recruitment process. If they've done well in that, there's no reason to suggest that this is the catastrophe that it appeared at 10 o'clock when the news first came out.
What do you think, Jack?
I don't know a lot about him, unfortunately. He's a bit before my time. You know, he was playing for Cov before I was born. So no, I can't really add to this one. Sorry. I'm sure Neil will appreciate that.
Yeah. You're not even old enough to get herpes. You, Chris, you must remember Boateng. Surely you look old enough.
Yes. Just as I got into supporting Sky Blues, actually, we signed him in, was it December 97 or January 98? He come in. A brilliant box-to-box midfielder, and he could run the midfield. He put everything into his performances. He was just a brilliant player. I liked him. He was one of my favourites, actually, at the time. But I know he upset a lot when he went to Villa and he gave that interview about going to a bigger club. And I know Cov fans don't like to hear this, but, they are, in terms of history and stature of the club. We hate it because they're local. I hate them, but I think just to really hate on a player all these years later because they've given that as an interview when they're going into a club. And I've never understood the hate Dublin and Boateng get for this, because many players before him went straight from Coventry to Villa. Cyril Regis being one, he was always thought of as a legend. Mm-hmm. Many players have gone afterwards, and none of them get the hate that Dublin and Boateng doing it. To me, it just doesn't make sense. I really don't get it. But no, loved him as a player. And if he does bring those qualities to our midfield, it can only mean good things for me, because the midfield could be a bit lackluster when Ben Sheaf wasn't playing last year. If Ben Sheaf wasn't playing well, then we weren't playing well. It was literally that clear. So, if he could bring some help and steel, it'd be good.
Got some comments here. Your average age Cov fan. Villa away, of course, in the FA Cup 4-1 win comes to mind. That was a hell of a day. That was.
You can see me in the crowd after Boateng runs to celebrate his goal. I'm in the crowd going, whoa!
Also, Carr is an individual development coach, apparently. So, I presume that means one-on-ones. Does he look up their stats and all that? Is that what he does? And tell them you're not running enough, or?
That's the thing these days, though, isn't it? It's all about lots of stats and stuff. It's moved on a lot, the game, hasn't it? And so that's the thing. Yeah. Sometimes we need to bring people in that can do that. Do we know? Like, has he played like football, or is he just like a coach? Like, has he come in?
I don't know.
Let's have I'll do a quick check on him.
Laurie McMenemy never played professional football.
Oh no, I've got no real issue with that. I mean, there's lots of decent managers that have never.
No, well, he managed Southampton, was assistant at England, Yeah, and he's managed for years and years. So I suppose does it matter? Maybe not.
I'm just more interested.
I mean, it probably gets more respect from the players. I'm not really sure. I mean, there's some great players, absolutely awful managers. Bobby Charlton was one of the worst. Manager, not player, I should say.
Wayne Rooney's not doing a great job, is he?
Yeah, that's really small. Villa away in the cup, unbeatable that day. Had a great engine. West Sky Blue. Carr was at Wolves and Irish women's national team. That's all. And Sky Blue Sam Boateng was at Blackburn. Carr is good friends with Cov coach Aled Williams, apparently. And got some more here. It keeps coming. Oh, sorry, not that one. Someone said,
sorry.
About AD connections. Surely Boateng has connections too. I'll just read these out, Vicky, and let you come back in again. Mark Cunningham loved Boateng when he played for us. West Sky Blue, he was like Hamer, not playing wise, but no one had heard of him, and he was quality. He was, like I said, he came into the team. That game at Liverpool was just unbelievable. Absolutely.
That 97-98 season, I believe we had a pre-season friendly against, was it Feyenoord?
Yeah.
Got him from. And he actually played against us in July before we signed him.
Good shout. Alison Berry, they both have Premier League experience, which has got to be a bonus.
Boateng's got international experience as well, I believe, with Ghana.
Yeah. Boateng to me seems a good person to have at the club with character and personality. Maybe because he couldn't make the Legends days, he probably thought, if I just joined the club, it'd be an easy way. I don't think he's ever been to one. Stephen McGovern, Dublin refused a record 20k per week, then went to Villa. I think if you hear the story, our ex-chairman Richardson has got. Don't put it all on Dublin. I'll tell you that now.
My only issue with Dublin, and the reason why I'm a bit disgruntled, is that he always tries to write his time at Coventry out of history. He very barely mentions this as like part of his football history, and that's I've got an issue that he went to Villa, probably got a better wage, all that sort of stuff. That's just football, isn't it? But it's the writing this out of his history. It's always Man United, Villa. It's never like, I was at Coventry for like an integral part of my career. That's what winds me up a little bit.
Yeah, and he was leading goal scorer in the Premier League when he was at Cov. Nowhere else.
Yeah.
I don't think he has done that, because he's done loads of things on BBC Football Focus to do with Cov, and he does talk to him a lot, So I don't think it's.
I must have seen the wrong interviews then, Chris. I just must have. I've got this perception in my head that he's.
It was either the playoff final, the FA Cup semi-final. I think it was the playoff final. He was actually there on the mic on TV for Sky, like talking to them about Coventry. He was there as Coventry's guest that day for Sky.
I think the problem is, because the BBC goes out all around the world, when he gets introduced, they'll just say former Manchester United, Aston Villa, and England player.
Yeah.
They're not going to list Cambridge, Coventry, Norwich, Millwall, because there's somebody in China going, who are they? It doesn't sound great, does it? It sounds great to us, of course. Trevor Merriman, Reese seems to have a good coach and reviews, and he's Welsh. That means that's good or bad or not. Go on, Tully out. Listen to some of the comments coming in. We're doomed. We're all doomed. I know. Go on, I think, let's see what happens. I'll be more. It'd be doom and gloom if Ben Sheaf gets sold tomorrow. That'd be doom and gloom.
Well, that's it. That's
West Sky Blue, and he sells houses in Cov and Thames and the Hammer. Right. Now, moving on, of course, the announcement, which I think most of us expected, really, because having been offered a contract, and a very good one, according to our man there, Mark Robbins, eventually we knew what was going to happen. He didn't sign by Christmas, and this young man has left the building. Now, personally, I don't know if anyone's seen Miles' little review of it. He's not happy. He thinks he should have stayed. He should have stayed with us and further his career with us. The trouble is, there's a lot of money out there in football, and if your contract comes to an end, and someone's going to offer you millions to join in your back pocket, basically, what's your agent going to tell you? It's obvious. And I mean, he may go to Leeds. At the end of the day, Leeds are still in a better position than us to get promoted, as far as I'm concerned. They've still got a good squad, whether or not they let players go or not. A lot better position than Sheffield United were when Hamer went there. I think, sorry to see him go. He came for nothing. He's leaving for nothing. And in that time, he's given me some of the best moments as a Coventry City fan. Simple as, Leicester last season, Blues away when he put the glasses on. Behind the goal, it was fantastic. Just his whole attitude. The day he played with a smashed up head, if you remember, when he cracked his head open and he was bandaged up like a great big lollipop, wasn't it? It was incredible. It's a shame because personally, I'd have loved it if it had stayed. But c'est la vie. He's been here quite a few years. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, we gave him a 4-year contract, obviously, when we signed him, and he's stayed the course of it. He's not jumped ship, which we all thought he could have done. I know he had an injury stopping that last year, but even the year before, he could have gone and didn't. He stuck with us. So what more can we ask of him? Yes, he might be deemed greedy, but yeah, like you said, wonderful memories. Some great games, some great play, and coming back from the injury, almost a better player than he was before. He's more physical, and his shooting was a lot more powerful, which is probably the two big weaknesses in his game. So he's taking a gamble. He's hoping that a bigger or better club will come and sign him, pay him more, and give him better career prospects. So I don't blame him, in all honesty. Thank you for your time, Callum.
Vicky, sorry, I just muted myself. I don't know why I did that.
I think it's. I mean, we've known this, haven't we, for months now? So I mean, it's easier to process because we've been pretty much resigned to it now since Christmas. We knew he wasn't signing. There's always like that sort of slight hope in the back of your mind when there's actually been announced that he's going somewhere else. Especially once you could start talking to clubs, that the fact that he was still not saying anything, you've just got this little bit of hope. So I'm actually sort of pleased that we could draw a line into it now and move on, because I think it got a bit unhealthy in the end, because we need to move on. He's been a great servant to the club, and like you said, he's given us a lot of great memories. But it's now time for us to both move on. If he's not staying here, it's just time to move on. I'll draw a line into his time, isn't it? It's a shame because I'm not sure that his agent's advising him the best, but he'll be rich, and I suppose that's not to be scoffed at.
Chris?
Yeah, so expected. I've got to be honest, he wasn't even really a regular starter for us in the last 3 months of the season. Palmer was doing a lot of the starting and playing well for a large portion of that. So I don't actually feel like he's going to be that missed in terms of team performance. Obviously, I'm really happy with what he's done for the club. He'll always be a great servant for the club. As Jack said, he's someone who didn't jump ship. I know people will question loyalty, saying, oh, well, we helped nurse him through the injury, so he should have signed to give us a bit longer, because obviously he spent all that time out injured. But, that loyalty swings both ways. We could have offered him a new contract knowing that this situation was coming up while he was injured. We chose not to do it in case he didn't come back the same player. So, it swings both ways for me, and I completely understand his decision to, if it is more money, then, a player's career is short. He's got a family to provide for.
Yeah, just building on that, obviously, we had the Jody Jones situation, didn't we? We kept him for 3 years. We extended his contract, and it didn't work at the level we were then at in the Championship eventually. So we didn't want to risk the same thing. It could have ended his career. He could have come back a much worse player, and we just don't know.
It's what will happen will be. It's a bit like with Victor Gyökeres. Once the two new lads up front started scoring, Victor's name wasn't mentioned as much. There wasn't all this in social media about how many goals he's getting, especially to the back end of the season. So if we hit the ground running, guaranteeing after 10 games, you won't hear anybody talk about Callum O'Hare. But if we don't, they'll be saying, "Oh, we should have done this. We should have kept him. We should have done this." You know, that's just typical football fans, basically.
Yeah.
I'll probably be one of them. So, he's hard. He's old Trevor Merriman. Not too bothered about O'Hare in the end. West Sky Blue, he's doing what's best for him, as we all would. It's life. If you work at Asda for £9 an hour and Tesco offer you £12 the same job, you'd move on. If they offer you £9 at Asda, that's below the minimum wage. I'd have a word.
I love it when they come out with analogies like that.
Matthew
Well,
Smith,
it always cracks me up.
It's not wrong though, is it? Really?
no.
The premise is the same.
Matthew
Maybe
Smith.
not everyone. Sometimes you remove other motivations, don't you? Like job opportunities, working in certain areas. There's all sorts of things. I don't always necessarily agree with that analogy. That it's all about. I mean, it depends what motivates you, I suppose, isn't it? And Callum's always suggested that he's actually more motivated by the football than the money. But if he goes to another club in the Championship for more money, then that's clearly been a lie, or his agent's forced his hand. And he's not been happy.
He might be more interested in the football, but his agent's more interested in the money. His agent couldn't care less where he's playing.
Yeah, and that's a bit sad, isn't it? Because he could end up really unhappy.
Well, I reckon he's off to Spain. No lad from Birmingham is learning Spanish just for hell.
Yeah.
Footballer, anyway. He's off to Spain for some reason. Anyway, Matthew Smith, Leeds looking at Van Eyck too. 12 to 15 million sounds like the fee. Well, no. If that Gray has gone for reportedly going for 40 million, Milan's worth at least 25, 30 in today's money.
Yeah.
It's just, I hate this time of year because you always get our fans trying to sell our players. It's like it's the most bizarre thing you'll ever see. It's almost like they want them to leave just so they can go, "Oh, told you I was right."
Sam, if he goes to Premier League, O'Hare, no problem. If he goes to another Championship club, he's moved for money, and that's a shame. But he could move to a Championship club with a real eye on going up. So, you know, they sign 4-year contracts. Leeds also go for Cullen if they want. They've got Bamford earning 70 grand a week. That's Matthew Smith. The thing is, I said this to me earlier about this, where Leeds, you know, they're going to have to reduce their wage bill. So they're going to let players go, and they're going to have to draft some in, but probably at half the price. And
the thing is, as well, though, that's another gamble, isn't it, Claudio? That's another gamble that you think you're going to a club that's going to got a better chance of getting promoted. I mean, a few players left us to go to Sunderland, probably thinking the same back in the League One days, and we got up quicker. So you just never really know. That's a gamble, going to clubs that you think is going to get promoted quicker, because football's a funny old game.
Dave Saunders, his backside is bigger now. He'll keep the bench warm whenever he goes. I mean, the funniest quote was during the season where was it Liam? I can't think of his name now. He's always coming up with the rumours when he was on the bench, and people saying, "Why is Callum on the bench?" He says, "Getting ready for next season in the Premier League." That was quite witty. Trevor Sky High Blues, he's not Prem class. Move on. Ralph Wiggins, well said, Jacko. Well said, Jack. O'Hare gave us some brilliant times, PAUSB. And Alison Berry, just hope his replacement is good or better. We've got some more coming in. I'll read these out quickly. Mark Cunningham, good luck to him, but I wouldn't want anyone at the club who doesn't want to be there.
Oh, yeah.
And Chris Brook, look at O'Hare's stats, not that sparkling for an attacking midfielder in the Championship. Is he actually Premiership class? Hijacking the hat. Warwick Sports. Oh, see, it is now. Right. Well, I've got some photos here because I don't think this has anything to do with Miles, though Miles has put the photos up. First day back at training. Let's have a look at these good-looking men. Looking all fit. Well, here we go. Now I believe that must be Ephron. Guessing.
Good guess. Good guess.
This is somebody looks absolutely knackered.
Bidders?
Is it Bidders? There's Mr. NSC. Wouldn't it be great in the friendly against Everton? He bags a couple of goals. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'd enjoy that.
Again.
All right. Big season for that man there on the right, Tavares. Let's hopefully he hits the ground running again. You know, you just got to. If he doesn't play him, he needs to go out on loan, I suppose. But he's somebody who we really need to sparkle, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are sitting there ready to be shot. It's look ridiculously fit already, don't they? It's nothing like the old days where they got 6 weeks of beer bellies to get rid of. Oh, there's Ben Sheaf doing the Gary Lineker. Let's have to, for those who remember what he did on the pitch.
Italian 90, yeah.
There's Bidders. Look, he's got that same run. Look, you can tell it's him by his run, can't you? Yeah, there's Ben Wilson.
He needs to sort his hair out.
Yeah. Milan top guy. And of course, we've got that man in the background. He's the one, like a new signing when he comes back.
Yeah.
These are great photos. One of our own. And of course, I think it's shall we move on to England? And we'll have a brief chat about the match last night. I'll just put this up. Some more COV flags. Are you still playing the flag bingo? It's amazing, isn't it, how many Coventry flags are there? And or with PUSB on, or from another room.
There's one that actually had Bingley Woods on it.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yesterday there was a Coventry one next to a Luton one as well, which was a bit weird.
There's Lee and CJ meeting up in the ground. Right then. Okay, as you all know, Italy's my team, but I'm still going to have my say. And I'll let you talk about it. For me, Southgate is one lucky manager. I don't think England haven't done as what they've done recently, getting to finals, semi-finals, quarter-finals, whatever, not down to Southgate at all. He's just been very, very lucky that he's got a group of players who are very, very talented at this given time, the last 4 years or so. And I feel that he's just been extremely lucky. And last night was proof of that yet again, because that was, I mean, if you look at the performances so far, Slovenia, are they ranked something like 50 something? Slovakia 47, Serbia 32. Even Denmark are quite high in the numbers at world rankings. These are teams that England should just put away with the squad they've got. There are no excuses. I don't understand the way he sets the team up at all. I don't understand it. It's just playing with fear all the time that you might get hit in the counter attack. But they've got so many talented players going forward. You shouldn't have to worry about that. And last night was just a case in point. I mean, had the guy from Slovakia not given that stupid free kick by the corner flag, was it a free kick or a throw in? It was throw-in, wasn't it? And they just defended the lines better. That's a 1-0 victory, and it had been gone this morning. And you know, somebody like making the substitutions. I mean, God, we moan about Mark Robbins, but that's incredible. It's incredible, the substitutions. And I just feel that performance-wise, not good enough, and luck will only get you over the line so many times. We know this as Cov City fans in the years in the Premier League. Eventually, we got away with not getting relegated. Eventually, your luck's going to run out if you're not good enough. And I think if it doesn't sort out the performances sharpish, they will get knocked out, and it could be this weekend. Right? What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, it's just dire football. It's late substitutions. The tactics don't make sense. The players playing in their positions aren't working. We can all make a FIFA team and put Foden on the left wing and it's perfect, but it just isn't working for England. It might work for Man City. It's not working for England. So something's got to change, like you say. I can see it being so typically England that we actually turn up against Switzerland, beat them 2 or 3-0, or even 2-3-1. And then we all get on our high horse, say it's coming home, and then get battered by the Netherlands. So that's my rogue prediction. But yeah, I mean, it's just not good, is it? Like you say, Southgate's been extremely lucky. We've played 3 difficult teams in the last 3 tournaments and lost 3 games. Simple as. We've won everything else, or drawn like Scotland like 3 times or twice this year. Scraped it through last night, like you say, with a last-minute goal. But sometimes a world-class player in Jude Bellingham can just be that difference, that edge that you need.
True. I mean, I said before the tournament, I didn't expect Italy to get out of the group. I said that on here because I just knew they got nothing, and I didn't expect anything. And then when we got through, I still didn't expect anything. But with England, I definitely expected something. I mean, I know they're into the quarter final, but it's how I just thought it'd be simple: 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, job done at ease, where he could change the team in the group stage. But last night was disappointing. Just the one change. It's, what do you think, Chris? Change just Manu coming in. That was a surprise for me.
It's ridiculous. I just don't understand how the man actually making decisions can't see what we all can see. It's absolutely baffling. I actually heard a bit of his post-match press conference, and I was absolutely astounded for him to whinge about the lack of balance in the team because he doesn't have a left back. It was your decision to not take a left back, so you can't whinge about the balance in the team. It's literally your fault. It's that way. It's not the player's fault. It's your fault because you didn't take a left back, or at least one that's fully fit and can actually play.
I actually think he was fortunate last night that Trippier got injured because he wasn't going to change it. And it's almost like Trippier looked over and went, "Please take me off."
Yeah.
In a mare here. What do you think, Vicky?
I think that the even more worrying thing is that not only was it bad last night, but we're just getting progressively worse. So, I mean, I think he got it tactically wrong against Croatia in the World Cup, like however many years ago that was, and that I was worried about him after that. I think he got it tactically wrong against Italy in the Euros, and so I think I agree with you that there's been a lot of luck that's seen us get as far as we have in recent tournaments. But last night was a whole nother level of just baffling decisions, and the lack of any real change in the second half was just inexplicable. Like we just were offering nothing, and we had players on the bench that could come on and make a difference, and we were doing nothing. And I just thought I can't understand like what it's so it's good to say now where I didn't always agree with his decisions, but I could see what he'd done. Now I just can't even see his thought process. It makes no sense whatsoever. And so the worry then is that at some stage we're going to get a humbling by in an embarrassing situation, aren't we? And it's just depressing, really.
What's interesting is that, I mean, we're just fans, and some of us have played a little bit of football, whatever, but top professionals are saying the same thing as what the fans are. So which is nice to see sometimes, isn't it? Because I was listening to Lineker, Shearer, and Michael Richards today, and the stuff they're saying is exactly the stuff you see on social media. What you see on what people talk about on podcasts or YouTube channels. And he's saying, well, what you do is he has to shut out the noise, which sounds to me he's not prepared to listen to anything. He's just obviously his own man kind of thing. But I thought, well, mate, you're going to fall on your sword soon because it ain't good enough. I mean, like I said, I know in the quarter final, but it's a bit like Man City playing Mansfield, Rotherham and Swindon to get to the quarter final of the FA Cup or something. It's hardly a challenge, really, I don't think. And I know, European football and all the standards have got better. I mean, Italy haven't qualified the last 2 World Cups, so I know exactly that. But like you said, Vicky, when England played Italy in the Euro final, took one down after only 2 minutes, whatever it was, I feared the worst because I'm thinking, I know what Italy are like. We can fold here. We've done it in the past, where it gets like what happened against Spain in the Euro final. They completely got blitzed. They couldn't handle it, and for some reason, England went in their shell, which is just ridiculous. And they've done it every game, pretty much.
That's got to be deliberate for me. I know even like pundits have said this, but like in the Euro final when we scored after 2 minutes, it was like flipping a switch. The players didn't want to go forward. That's a tactical decision. That's got to be an instruction from the manager. Doesn't want to attack. They did it against Serbia. They went 1-0 up through Bellingham. It was like flipping a switch. They just retreated. It's like he's scared to attack. And
like Jack said about playing forward on the left, it's all right when you're playing FIFA. It's almost like he doesn't want to upset a couple of players. Foden's a number 10. That shadow of a doubt. I don't think Bellingham's a number 10. Play him deeper. Let him come from deep. Let him control the whole of the midfield. From deep. I don't understand. It's almost like it's like a Lampard-Gerrard situation again, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't have players playing out of position all over the pitch almost. And I think maybe, I know people call him Diamond Head and whatever you call him, with Maguire missing, I think that's made a difference with somebody like John Stones, because he doesn't go forward, does he? He does not go forward. It's strange. It's a strange situation where I think everyone's watching thinking, come on then, have a go. And they don't.
And the thing is, these players will have gone into this tournament with a degree of confidence, won't they? Because Bellingham's just won the Champions League, Foden's won the league. They've all gone in on the back of good club seasons. There's no reason for these players to be fearful. They just need to take that. So it's clearly something that's been dictated to them, isn't it? They're being told you need to be more reserved, because that's not how they've been playing all season.
Well, you could even bring on the lad who hasn't played yet, Gordon. You drop. Here's a controversial one. You drop Harry Kane. You put Bellingham as a false number 9.
Yeah.
Hang on. You've just said you want Bellingham deeper, and then you've just said you want Bellingham forward.
But you could play him as a false number 9. You could play him up there.
Yeah, but Harry Kane is just as good as false 9. He comes deep enough. So
because I'll tell you why he comes deep. He comes deep because he's bored.
Yeah, because the whole of England are so deep, he comes deeper.
Yeah, because when I did play football, I played as a centre forward, believe it or not, even though it's my height. But what used to happen is when you don't get the ball, you get frustrated. So you come deeper and deeper and deeper. And I always say that when we play teams at the CBS and you see their centre forwards coming back, getting the ball and thinking, we've got them here. That's when you know you're on top, when they're having to drop so deep to get the ball. And he should stay in the box, shouldn't he?
Yeah, if Southgate's not directed him to do that, then he needs to stop doing it. And Southgate needs to be brave enough to say, look, Harry, stop coming deep for the ball. Because when we're only playing one striker, he's got to be the vocal point of any direct attack. And if he's not up there, the ball's coming straight back at you, and it has been most of the tournament. So that is a problem that they need to get sorted out. The midfield too was an absolute joke. I would have moved Bellingham back there, and I would have put Foden in the middle, and then either played Gordon or would have still took Jack Grealish for the left wing. He doesn't seem to like Jack Grealish. Katie didn't have a great season for City, to be fair, but I think you've picked the absolute wrong moment to stop picking players that have done a job for you in the past, which is what he's always done. Like, there's loads of times where we've not understood his selections. To then start picking players based on club form, you don't take new players to test at a major tournament. You do that at the start of a qualifying campaign. He's picked the absolute wrong moment to do it.
There's so many games where he didn't have to play Harry Kane in friendly against, I don't know, Gibraltar, wherever they play. There's no need to play him. It's almost like he wants to play because he wants to get so many goals for England, but there's no need. It's about the whole team, isn't it? Got some comments here. We'll work through these. Sky Blue Sam, knockout football is all about results, correct? I mean, 82 in the World Cup, Italy were absolutely dire in the group stage, and then ended up being world beaters.
We've seen that lots of time. Germany were masters of that, weren't they? Germany were masters at scraping through a group and then going on and winning the whole thing. So, I mean, you see it. I mean, France have just, I think France were looking against Belgium earlier. They haven't played that well all tournament, but you can see them getting to a final. They're one of the favourites, aren't they? I mean,
you wouldn't have said a team would get to the quarter final and all they've done is scored 2 own goals and a penalty. So, I mean, that's not great either, is it? Really?
No.
So they go, we're doing better than France.
Jake Bidwell do a better job at left back for England.
That's the sad thing. A left back in League Two could, because it's not about Trippier as a bad player. It's about the system with a left footer, because the amount of times Trippier receives the ball and just won't go on the outside at all, ever.
Yeah.
Any left-footed player would be better.
Ryan Hayes.
Okay, maybe not any.
Gavin Collins, Southgate's clueless, tactically inept, can't manage top-class players. We did get relegated with Middlesbrough. This is what. And actually, what is Hasselbank doing in the coaching staff? This guy is absolutely useless at club level. How is he on England's FA coaching staff? What is going on?
2 words. Gareth Southgate.
I think what bothers me about that is he's there to help the strikers score goals. It's clearly not working.
Well, the midfield
the golden boot.
Strikers score goals, and that's not happening. It's not helping.
We did not make any goalkeeper earn his crust. That's right. So there's been 2 shots against Slovenia and Slovakia, only 2 shots on target, which is I find incredible. Yeah, Stephen McGovern, no Luke Shaw, and it's a shambles.
I still, for the life of me, can't figure out why he did not take Ben Chilwell. It just seemed when Luke Shaw wasn't fit, and the rumour at the time was he weren't going to be fit to the last group game. That's not happened. Doesn't look like he's going to be fit for Saturday either.
Do you think
that information? Why have you not took Ben Chilwell?
I mean, Chilwell was horrendously out of form for Chelsea, not really playing either. But he's the only other option, really. Tyrick Mitchell was another one that was playing regularly in a Palace team that were right in form. And, you know, he's picked a couple of other Palace players. I'm surprised that Tyrick Mitchell didn't get a shout. That's who I'd have taken.
That's not a bad shout either.
I reckon someone's had a bet there's going to be 4 Palace players in the squad. That's probably what it was.
Was it Tony?
Yeah, Sky Blue. Yeah, he probably had a bet. He was coming on the last. He was disgusted with Gareth Southgate. He was about to come on with 5 minutes to go, not 2 minutes to go. West Sky Blue, no left back available. Well, Bidwell was Gareth saying. I mean, what they really need is it Calvin Phillips? That's astonishing. That.
Oh,
no. West Sky Blue.
Come out with that.
Why not go 3 at the back? Cody Gibson says apparently Copa America tonight with the USA v Uruguay. Oh, my watch! I like Uruguay. I like the kit, Sky Blue. Weah picked up a red in the last game, so hopefully Hashi gets a run out.
Jamaica are coming home, aren't they? So
are they good?
Yeah, which is good, isn't it? I mean, you don't want them staying there too long. We want them to get back to us, don't we?
I'm not for this comeback and then they have 2 weeks off. Just get on that training pitch. You've been doing nothing. Really. Chris Brook, we sit back too much. That's right. Mark Cunningham, I wish we could play Palmer from the start. England look better when he comes on. The trouble is, it's like a lot of managers, they hate to admit it because as soon as they change it, they're conceding that, that they were wrong. Ben Whittingham, have we mentioned almost conceding from the halfway line? No, we haven't.
Oh, no. God, I forgot about that.
I forgot about
that. A bit more composure.
That
would have been in, wouldn't it? A bit more composure. That guy, that was poor. Stephen McGovern, Bellingham is definitely a better 8. West Sky Blue, all these winners at their clubs, and outstanding player for England is the lad from Palace. Is that Eze? It's
that defender. He's Palace as well, isn't he? The defender that's playing alongside Stone. I think he's looked decent.
He's had a good tournament. I thought Mainu, when he came on against Slovakia and against Slovenia, when he started against Slovakia, I actually thought he did himself justice. He played. He's probably one of our better players, and I get it. Still, probably wasn't that great, but there's a lot of rubbish going on around him. But I thought when he was on the board, technically, he was pretty good in that central midfield.
And he did try to progress it more than anybody else. Like whereas everyone else kept on looking back, he did try to go forward more than most.
Yeah.
Well, he was in the box within 2 minutes, dribbling past a player in the box in the first 2 minutes. That's what we lacked. And then he did it once and went, right, that's my done, lads, your turn.
I think Southgate was about ready to run on the pitch. Go, get back there! You're too far up.
Ben Whittingham, lucky escape. We could have been an embarrassing end to the campaign. And also,
would be worse than Iceland. That would have.
Simon Wells, what keeper should we sign? Still not sure on Collins at all. Wilson, not happy. Yeah, I mean, going back to City, we've done England, haven't we? I think they're still straight past Switzerland. We can talk about the weekend. But anyway, well, I don't know. I mean, is anybody leaving? They signed a new guy, haven't they? A young lad. But I mean, they're on contract still. Has Ben got another year on his contract?
Yeah, for
I
me,
think so.
for me personally, with the keepers, I think there were more pressing. We can't go out and get a player for every position we need in one window. We don't have the money to do that. And I think there are bigger issues in other positions that need to be addressed, and depth in those positions as well. So not just starters, that needs to be addressed before we go back to the goalkeeper. Yes, I agree. We need a better keeper than what we've got. But have we got 4 or 5 million to pay that it's going to cost to get a new number one that we probably could be putting and investing in another area of the pitch? Like, we need another striker as well, especially if the rumours are true and Godden does leave. We're going to need another striker. Whether he's a starter or not, we're going to need another striker just for numbers, because this was part of our problem at the end of last season. We're on about it petering out. It petered out because of injuries, because we didn't have a big enough squad to deal with a cup run and the league campaign. And that's what caused the issues, in essence. So we need a lot of depth, not just first team starters.
I mean, the rumour is Sante from the Baggies, which would be a good signing actually. But if it comes off, it'd be an excellent signing. But yeah, you're right, Chris. We do need more strength and depth, and definitely up front. We need younger players if we want to play the kind of style we want to play. And saying that, I mean, I was mentioned it last week. I said I won't be surprised we go back to 3 at the back.
No, that's not going to happen. We've got 4 wingers on the books,
Wow.
4 actual wingers on the books, and we've got Hadji and Tavares that can play on the wing. You go back to a back 5, you don't play wingers, and then the personnel we've brought in is wrong, and then you criticise the club. That's just how it goes. We cannot play a back 5 with the transfers we have had over the last 12 months.
It's Saka didn't fit that wing back either, so Sakamoto. I agree with Jack on that.
We'll wait and see. Line up for the first game.
Yeah.
4-2-4. All out.
Yeah.
That would be.
Let's go for it.
I'll be honest with that.
What I will say is, when we did have our good run last year and we actually got ourselves into the playoffs in the early year, in February time, we were playing 4-3-3, and it was Sakamoto's injury that sort of changed that, because we didn't have the depth in the wingers to be able to stomach his injury, basically, and we had to keep changing it up. After that, our form suffered, so we can't really suddenly go back to a 5 when you've literally brought in 3 wingers. It's, and you've already got Sakamoto
there.
Yeah, we've got more than enough. Sorry, we've got more than enough players to fill that wing position. I mean, Milan did it, De Silva did it as well.
Yeah.
I know Callum Palmer both played out there. Tavares have played out there. We've got Hadji that's played out there. Yeah, and we've got 3 formal wingers on the books. It's just, we have to have wingers in the formation now.
And actually, Jack, when you look at some of the games we've seen, look at the way Spain are playing with 2 wingers. It's just great to see wing play. If you're of a certain age, I used to love wingers. It's just so exciting.
That was my first ever favourite player. William was bombing down the wing. That's what I told him when I met him at Legends Day. You were my first ever favourite player, because that's what got me off my seat. A winger flying down the wing. It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, maybe, why can't we find Nico Williams and that 16-year-old? 16-year-old. He's going to be 17 at the time. I can't believe he's 16, that lad.
The thing is about playing,
such bravery to play something like that. Incredible.
In contrast to Southgate.
I'm going to read these comments out, and then we'll call it a night, I think, because and watch a bit more football. Yes. while the wife's away, I'll just watch some more football. You got a fan here, Chris. Cody Gibson, well said, Chris. I think we get too thin in the end, so the depth could be the difference this season. Simon Well says, go get Nichols, Huddersfield, or Longstaff. This will have to lead us for tonight, I think, Wes. For all of you, what as it stands is your starting 11, but that's for future programs, I think.
We'll make an errand.
Yeah. Tom, I would like to see Torp. Of course, Torp have a storming season this year. He fell away towards the back end of last year. I do like him. I do like Torp.
He got rushed in because Sheaf been injured, didn't he? It didn't do him any favours. I don't think we ever planned to play him as much early on, but Sheaf got injured, and that did him no favour.
Be interesting to see what he's like after a full pre-season under his belt.
If he plays anything like he did at Wembley, and then if he can rifle a penalty in the top bin harder than I've hit anyone hit a penalty in my life, we've got a player on our hands. You know, take Gyökeres for example. We bought him in January, it didn't really work. Then we gave him a full pre-season, and he came back a beast. Torp's in exactly the same position. He's been in and around the squad for 6 months now. He's had his time to gel. Now he's going to get a full pre-season under his belt. Injury forbid, obviously. He will be one hell of a player.
Peter Dolan, why do you think AD has left? Well, Peter, if you only just joined towards the end, if you watch us on a recap, whatever you call it, you'll see we spent about half an hour talking about it. None of us know. We don't know if it's pushed or left. We don't know. Simon Wells, O'Hare to West Ham to warm the bench, I reckon. Dave Saunders, Tom Hutchison, say no more. Yeah, I'm with you, Dave. Yeah. Well, Nuddy. Peter Unlove as a winger. Oh, just brilliant. Yeah. Alison Berry, I love Nico. He is such a great player. You shouldn't. It's funny when you watch another country playing. You shouldn't be getting excited, really, should you? You're sitting there going, I hate this lot, but you can't, can you? And Rodri was. I know it was Georgia, but Rodri, what a player! Just what a player. I
think that's the thing, though, isn't it? If you're watching a different country, you can just enjoy the football. Like you've got, like when you're watching like England or Italy, like for yourself, you're getting frustrated because they're not playing well enough or they're doing whatever. You watch Spain, you can just enjoy the football, and wish that we could play like that.
Most definitely. Chris Brook, do you think we need an old-fashioned enforcer in the squad? Right, that's the last question of the night. So, okay then, do we need an enforcer? a proper ball winner like a Doyler. What do you reckon? Who wants to go first? Go on, Vicky. What do you think?
Do you still need that these days? Has the game changed? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And also, who would you drop to fit them in? Is probably my biggest issue with that. I think in essence, that is a good move, isn't it? Somebody that breaks up play and plays that sort of role. But who do we leave out to fit them in?
Isn't that Ben Sheaf's kind of role, really? I thought he was
in a more elegant way, though. In a more elegant way.
Not in like a Makaleli or Essien way.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, yeah, for me, not really, no. Our most important thing this summer is just to hold on to Ben Sheaf. Don't lose Ben Sheaf. And I don't think with the players that have been added, we could have a real shot at playoffs or maybe even more.
Jack?
I want to put a different twist on this. So Chris has said about having depth. Currently, we've got Sheaf, Eccles, Torp, and Allen. That's 4 players to play 2 positions. We want more depth. I personally don't think Allen's up to it if we're going to be a playoff pushing or a promotion pushing team. An enforcer would do a cracking job. You move Sheaf to the Rice type role that he's got at Arsenal, where he's now the box to box player, Rice, and he's got, back end of the season, he had Thomas Partey or Zinchenko just behind him, Jorginho even doing the covering. That's what an enforcer could do for us. It would allow Sheaf to become a sort of a proper box to box player, because we've seen him flourish going forward and coming backwards. And then that would leave a number 10 in front of them, whoever that may be. You could put Torp there, you could put Rudoni there, could be Palmer. It would give them 100% freedom. We all know Palmer falls over, flaps his hands and doesn't come back. But with Sheaf and an enforcer behind him, maybe that's not so much of a bad thing.
That's a good shot.
Could be used very, very well if we got the right player.
And on that sensible note, I think we'll end the show. So, thank you everybody for watching and watching basically. And we could be back on tomorrow night if there's more breaking news. We'll have to drag some other people on screen. 15 million pounds.
That Neil bloke back in. I'll drop him a comment or two.
Yes, I'm not banded, but you take the rough with the smooth, Jack.
He's obviously had it though, because he knows our
I think so. Oh no.
So, yeah.
On that note, good night, everybody. Is it Portugal on now? What's the score? Anybody?
Yeah,
see
Portugal, Slovenia, and it's 0-0. Yeah, I've had it playing above my head. Just wanted to keep the
that's a good time to
rest of
know.
the score.
Right, play up Sky Boo, and we'll be back on air soon.
Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.